I think I might have cracked the code to photorealism. So here's the real secret. If you nail the textures and the lighting, that's 80% of the job done for a photorealistic render. But then comes the real problem. How the heck do you get these real life textures? The best answer to date is photo scanning. And I've come across a very interesting piece of software that I'll share with you today. Let me take you through the process and 2 hacks in particular that makes a difference of night and day. Let's quickly go over the basics first. So you just take multiple pictures of an object in a diffuse light from every angle. You put them in a software and some very clever algorithms tie them together into a model. Then we can project these images as textures. And since these textures are derived from real pictures, every little nook and cranny of the model looks amazing. This can become a very technical process though, especially if you want to make production-ready assets. But the tool that I've recently been working with simplifies everything with amazing results. I'm of course talking about KIRI Engine. Now, although this video is sponsored by folks at KIRI, I took it to the altar and put it through trial by fire. My usual choice of photo scanning is reality capture, and this is what I compared it against. The results are astonishing. We'll scan 3 objects this time: a croissant, a bakery thing that I don't know the name of, and a samosa. I've impaled the object on a tripod and lit it with a diffuse light which is being bounced from the opposite side with a white wall reducing the overall shadows. Now we can take the images either with a phone or with a DSLR. I've used my trusty T7i to capture the images, and I can go around in circles to capture all the angles of all the objects. KIRI Engine has an app and a web interface. I'll be using the web interface to upload, but you can also use the app to capture images or video with a phone and upload it directly to their servers for processing. So it really democratizes how you can use this amazing technology. While strolling, if you come across something that interests you, you can just take your phone out then and there and start capturing. So you always are ready to photo scan. And that is one thing I really like about KIRI Engine. Right, let's start the clock and start processing both in reality capture and KIRI Engine at the same time. See who wins. We'll click align on reality capture and start the timer. And create 3D model at the same time in KIRI Engine. Just when KIRI Engine is preparing for upload, reality capture has aligned all the images already. Now we can define the borders for mesh generation in reality capture, and after that's done we can click on normal detail. 1 minute in and mesh generation process has already started in reality capture, and KIRI Engine is still preparing for upload. Little bit of slow start there. Once uploaded though, you don't have to do anything really, it's like fire and forget. Now all the processing is happening online on KIRI server, so it's not heavy at all on the local machine. And this also means that we can run parallel tasks, which is essentially processing more than one model at the same time. While reality capture is grinding through one model, we can input multiple datasets for different models in the KIRI Engine, and it will work on all of them at the same time. For reality capture you need good graphics card with CUDA cores, but because KIRI runs online, there is virtually no need for power-hungry hardware. So reality capture goes in stepwise manner, aligning images, mesh generation, texture generation, and model optimization. I've noticed that KIRI Engine does it all in one go, and this automates the entire process. So while reality capture is texturing the first model, we have 3 datasets being processed in KIRI Engine in parallel, and this is a game changer. 20 minutes in and reality capture has given us our first complete model. We can see that this does look pretty amazing, and this is what I love about photogrammetry. 2.5 minutes later, I receive a notification from KIRI's app. We've got the model ready from KIRI Engine as well, and we can appreciate these rich textures. Now that reality capture is finished with the first model, we can inject the next dataset of the bakery thing, which the KIRI Engine is already processing. We have it aligned fairly quickly and we can start construction in normal detail. At 32 minutes, KIRI Engine has finished processing the bakery thing as well, and we can have a look at the mesh adjustment tools of the engine. With the crop tool, we can define the bounds of the mesh by moving the arrows of different axes and rotate it if needed as well. All of this, from data capture to editing, can be done completely from the phone too. We can also tone the textures from brightness, contrast, saturation, gamma and temperature. At 50 minutes mark, reality capture has generated our second model. The third dataset was deliberately tricky to test how KIRI Engine holds up with less than ideal images. While reality capture has outright failed the first step to even align the images, and we are to spend a lot of time marking the control points for precise alignment, KIRI Engine has already produced the final model, although could use a few tweaks, but nonetheless, this really impressed me. And seconds after, another final model of a hot cross bun is done. This is really exciting. Another great thing is that KIRI also produces both low poly and a high poly version of the same model. The low poly version is surprisingly, practically indistinguishable from the assets from reality capture. KIRI Engine's model is 15,000 tries, whereas reality capture is nearly a whopping 1,000,000 tries. So reality capture assets inevitably need extensive post-processing to make them production ready, whereas KIRI's models are usable right out of the box. The Pro version unlocks even more options like generating PBR textures, a quad mesh, and even a rigged model. All of this will require tens of hours of time with reality capture. Speaking of textures, remember the 2 material hacks that I mentioned earlier? Let's get to it. Normally you receive a singular diffuse textures from photo scanning software, and organic things like a pizza slice can look like rubber or plastic. And you are left wondering, what the hell do I do with this unrealistic blob of a mesh? Well, what you do is duplicate the image texture and run it through a color ramp and plug it into the roughness channel. This essentially gives you the roughness map. We can tweak the color ramp to increase or decrease the amount of roughness. White areas have max roughness and black areas have 0. The next thing is to use the same texture and use it to make micro details of the texture using a bump node. Adjust the distance of the bump node and we have micro details for those close-up shots. Although this still looks like it's made up of rubber. The last stroke of goodness is this magic slider, the subsurface scattering. So food and organic materials bounce the light around below the surface before it escapes again. This gives them more fleshy, fresh and organic feel. And now you finally have a realistic pizza slice. I've already eaten it, but you can enjoy this virtual meal. This bakery asset pack and the project files are freely available on my Patreon, so feel free to go there and download. I'll see you soon in the next one. Farewell.